or Ellen and Maggie, if there is a kind of visual or a metaphor that would help think about time in the works that you were talking about. And I guess Prita as well. Yeah, what kinds of visual metaphors, especially for abstract time, help us get our heads around that. I'll let any of you take that.
Okay, sure, visual metaphors. Thinking about the film Asia 1, and it's unfortunate that I wasn't able to bring clips, but time was an issue. So throughout the film, she's juxtaposing these different conceptions of time that are looking back to the Great Leap Forward era specifically, so the late 1950, 1958 to 1962 specifically. And so during this period, there were operas that were created and shown throughout these spaces in which people who worked in these factories would have viewed them, like in the Hongxia Theater especially. And so she's drawing from those specific operas, and she's actually screening them in the factory space in 2021, in which the workers are sort of going about their jobs. So you see these different these different conceptions of what industrial labor looks like. We see it within the theatrical sense, because if we think about what these operas, what the content of the operas was, it was often about this futuristic utopian labor, right? That China's engaging in. So she's placing those in dialogue, what this kind of labor looked like in the 50s, which was looking towards the future, and then what we see in 2021, which is an actual conception of that labor. So lots of those different sorts of juxtapositions throughout the film.
I don't have a visual metaphor, I have a food metaphor. Have anyone used a slow cooker before? A slow cooker is where you put everything in a cooker and then it cooks for like 8 hours and 6 hours later, and then you have a nice stew, right? So for me, the idea of an abstract time is very much like putting things into a slow cooker. Mm-hmm. Whether you put carrot or potato before beef is not important. As long as everything is there, you can put onion if you like it. You don't put it if you don't like it. So different preferences and different ideologies is compatible within the slow cooker or within this timeless realm, while the exact sequence of when you're putting salt, when you're putting pepper is not that important, because everything would happen as soon as you hit the button, rather than it's not a sequential cooking method. It's just everything's thrown into the slow cooker type of thing. Yeah.
I love that.
That's beautiful. Yeah. I would think there are many possible clear examples in the arts of Africa of different notions of time being visualized in a visual metaphor. For example, cosmological time. As you also pointed out, there are of course many different notions in African belief systems and theologies about time, cosmological time, of course, always being eternal, at the same time always present, always past, and always future. So the introduction you did of, for me, of the Chokwe mask actually has this sign in the center that was part of that exhibition that you mentioned that I curated, which is actually is a symbol of that, of this cosmological time, where all times are at the same time always there, at the same time always not there. So this is the cyclical nature of it. In more concrete terms of contemporary African art, there's an artist. Zina Zarawiwa, whose major medium is time-based media. She does film pieces. You might know her. She's a really fascinating Nigerian artist. She does these wonderful, video installations where she has people eating food very, very slowly in remote, small villages in the Cross River regions of Nigeria, which is also the site of massive climate and oil-based degradation. And so she does this juxtaposition of how people exist actually in different times in that particular space. You know, high capitalist colonial, neo-colonial time, but also the old time of the village, but also the time of ritual as well, cosmological time. She juxtaposes that in her video art. It's a very clear explanation of that. Yes, and there's the Dikenga on the, you see it on the forehead? Looks like a cross to us, but it's actually a conception of time, cosmological time.
Thanks.